a familiarity with the name that happened under the recording, but I'm glad you corrected me.
Well,
Um,
I'm just saying that because I'm he might become famous after this, and he just needs to be
that's right.
prepared.
That's right. That's
So
right. Well,
he's
and
also back in Indiana. So
yep,
anybody
yep.
that's
Well,
tuned in and knows Brian Poindexter, we're a little bit different. He's a lawyer. He's actually a judge. So don't judge me, and just hopefully I can come up with something clever to say today.
you already have. So I will share one thing because of the fact that we were both, I guess, crossed over. I might have been a senior or at least a junior when you were entering IU. I was 87. I padded my curriculum with some things that I had a passion about, which I still am passionate about, of the crossover sports medicine as a vehicle or sports as a vehicle for folks that are trying to mainstream, whether it be physical challenges or mental challenges. And I think you deal more with psychological challenges, which is why your dual degree is very interesting, that you had both the chemistry and the psychology degree. So before we launch too far into the technical, I'm going to ask you some things about that choice and how it's applied to your career, because we're in ever more challenging times with body identification, dysmorphia, all that stuff. We just recently had that Demi Moore movie, which was horrific, but very, I guess it had a very interesting message as well. One quick thing I wanted to share at IU. I mean, so I had a lot of electives and a lot of psychology and learned a lot about people and still am learning each day with my patients as there's new scenarios post-pandemic that come all the time. One thing that I think was interesting for me is that I had the opportunity to take some coursework that was done with teaching TAs that were at IU. One was in my chemistry class, and one was in my anatomy class. And one of the things that you'll get a laugh out of is that when I did my chemistry lab, the requisite was that you would get an accurate accounting of the supernatant as you distilled it and then did the subfiltrate, blah, blah, blah. And I was looking around the room in the lab, and everybody had these beautiful crystals. And then there were like one or two of us, like me, that had this big gray glop in our filter. So I had to introduce the fudge factor. I have to sort of own up to that now that that's kind of how I. But what I liked about this course was that the TA allowed us bonus points for getting David Bowie's alter ego, which I knew was Stardust. So I think that's part of what helped me maybe get my B minus in chemistry lab. Anyway, on to you, and maybe you can
Well,
you can either share a IU story, or we can get right to some of the stuff that we talked to at the onset.
Well, I will tie into that in a couple ways. One, we have three miniature horses, and two are they're they're all rescues, but the last ones came from a rescue organization, and they came with the names Ziggy and Bowie. Um,
How
so
how crazy is that?
so we completed the names, and we now have David Bowie and Ziggy Barndust.
That's
So
awesome. I
so
think the
yeah, so
stars have aligned on this podcast
yeah.
already. All
So
right.
that's that connection. And then to go back to the chemistry and the psychology. So I started off, I was going to do biochem. Really, I was always going to go to medical school. It seemed I didn't have really another plan. And so I was doing a lot of the chemistry work like you need to, and I was taking psychology for my minor, and um, all the really well, there were a lot of really pretty girls in psychology. So I just kept taking psychology classes, and I eventually just got enough to actually have another major in that. And so since I had a double major, I was like, okay, I can just go with these two, and I don't have to do the biochem. So that was the completion of that loop of stuff.
Uh-huh. Did you have to do summer coursework to get all the requisites, or you were able to do it in clean in the 4 years?
So I did. I did biochem, or not biochem. I did organic chemistry 2 and organic lab in the summer. Um, Partially because I needed to get some stuff in, and also it was supposed to be easier in the summer. And I've received 2 Bs in my life, and they were both in organic. So that was the probably the right route for me, as opposed to toughing it out. I think one was organic lab. So I think those were my 2 Bs.
We might have
Today.
rotated through the same professor. I remember mine had a beard, super nice guy, was always made himself available. We didn't have to go to the TAs if we had questions. So yeah, I mean, I guess the take home point for anybody listening in is it's a good idea tactically when you're in a pre-med curriculum to take a look at your course load. And I did the same, you know, with some of my courses, to spread it out a little bit if you have the ability to do so.
I just want to say one word to you. Just one word.
Yes, sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, sir, yeah.
Plastics.
With hazy cosmic jive. There's a star.